Hello everybody, welcome to the Totally Awesome Fishing Show. I do apologise for the wind, but I'll try and shelter the camera from the wind. But what we're going to do today, I'm just going to have a go at a taupe shark, or a school shark, or a it's called a grey boy shark. Sorry about the wind, but it's a little bit too, really you want a still evening for this, a bit like what it was like last night. But we're just going to try something anyway, and even if it don't work, I can always fall back to something else. So, you know, don't be frightened to try things, even if the weather's a little bit iffy, just try it for an hour. So it involves catching a live bait, a live mullet I'm going to try and put on. Now what I've done, I haven't actually got any 80 or 100 pound trace line. So what I've done, I've got some 55 pounds. So what I've done, I've put 3 strands of 55 pound all together, look. Okay, I've got an 8/0 kingfish hook, got a little bit of duct tape round there because it's a little bit, you know, left the knot ends a little bit long, so I've just put that round there just to bind it. As you can see, look, there's 3 strands of 55, so that's 165 pound now. Not as effective as 150 pound, you know, just one solid diameter. However, you know, as long as the fish isn't like, you know, 50 pounds or something, then it should do to land a 20 pounder, I would have said. So we've just got some little cable ties in here, and up there to a big roll and swivel, ball bearing swivel, 30 pound braid, which is just there. So there, it's a classic example of a makeshift. I've come down here, I've managed to find some bait quite easily. So, and as per usual, you know, you think, oh, I could just try something, and then you ain't got the gear. So I've had to, done a little tide's ebbing, so it's not great. So I've just used the lull period in the tide just to sort of mock up a rig which can sort of, you know, could produce a fish. So we're just going to clip that in there. Rod's there, and I've got my stake, and I've got my sabiki rig, a new sabiki rig because I lost the other one. And we're just going to try and get a large mullet, and I'm going to bridle rig. I'm going to where are we? I'm going to bridle rig the mullet to this end. So what that means is, it means the hook doesn't actually penetrate the fish. Okay. So what I'll do in his top lip, and possibly his bottom lip as well, because they're very soft mouths. There's a lot of swell running here, so I want it on fairly tightly. And I've got little baby cable ties, which I use to bridle rig any live baits. You see, because at the end of the day, they swim freely. It doesn't. They're not dying from the way you've injured and hooked them, and you can release them at the end of the day. And it's just these little tiny little cable ties. So what I'll do, I'll wrap this cable tie around this hook, and the cable tie will be in the fish's jaws and tightened up and snipped off, looking all lovely and clean. So the hook is right at the head. Most predatory fish will take a live bait by the head first. So that long as the hook's completely exposed, these are absolutely razor sharp. These are Black Magic hooks, size 8 live bait hooks there. So what we'll do, I'm going to bridle rig that on there, and there's no way it'll come off like that. It's where sometimes, well, the hook is a bit too big for a mullet anyway. You can use a smaller hook, but you know, generally if you've got a biggish sort of hook, then you know, you might as well sort of use it. Absolutely razor sharp. So sometimes if you just hook a live bait, they can wriggle off, and in conditions like this, you might not be able to tell whether the live bait's still there or not for a while. So you know, just to make sure, bridle rig it. You can bridle rig with cotton as well. Tie them on, do a similar sort of thing where you use like a baiting needle to pierce the skin or whatever, and then tie it on that way. But I just use a cable tie, never comes off, and that way we'll be live baiting. And usually, you know, bait is good, but when you've got a bait on the bottom, you get pickers like crabs and shrimps and things like that, and they'll gnaw away at it. Smaller fish will have a little bite. It's good for scent, that's okay, but you cannot beat a live bait. Live bait, you've got the movement. Sharks home in on movement. You know, all sorts of fish, they home in on vibration and movement. And The live bait will be, all it's got to do, it hasn't got to be a long way out, it's got to literally be just behind the first wave, and that's like the first shelf, and that's where the fish are, and they're just picking up, they're looking for the food which is being dragged off this beach, and then it gets dumped down into that little shelf. So there's an area from where it sort of starts to dip down to probably about 10 feet. There's a channel right along there, and the fish will come right in along there. So as long as you can just get the live bait out, that's all you need to do. Disadvantages today, the wind is a bit of a nightmare. It's a little, at the minute it's blowing northeast, but there was talk of it swinging around the northwest. Somebody last night said that. I'm in a remote place, so I've got no internet. I've got to drive 20 kilometers to get some internet, so I've got no phone signal, no nothing here. So you know, when it's like that, it's nice to sit at home and sort of go off all the you know, the swell maps and the windy and this is that and the other, lovely. But when you're on a sort of a long recce for sort of 4 or 5 days, sometimes, most often, the places you go won't have internet. Good places you go won't have internet, so you just have to sort of hear what other people are saying and just do the best you can in the conditions, and have lots of options. Righty-ho, so there we go. We're going to get a live bait, and we're going to chuck it out, and we're going to see if we can get a shark. All right, see ya, bye.